are getting complicated. Nothing's gonna stop this shit from sinking down. Think we need some mediation. I get it all for you. Why the hell do I fall for you? Baby, 12 a.m. you're dodging all my phone calls, baby. Why ask me? You already know it all, baby. Don't you play around with me tonight. If we go in, baby, don't do it tonight. If we go in, baby. Don't do it tonight. Things are getting complicated. Nothing's gonna stop this shit from sinking down. Think we need some mediation.
You're in tune with the sounds of the Atheist Troll Live call-in show.
Baby, 12 a.m. you're dodging all my phone calls, baby. Why ask me? You already know it all, baby. Don't you play around with me tonight. If we gon' hit it, baby, don't do it tonight. Night. If we gon' hit it, baby. Night. Do it tonight.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Atheist Troll Live. We got a good one for you today. I'm really excited. We're going to switch it up a little bit. So Natalie, the geologist, she is actually out in the field right now in an area that does not have reliable Wi-Fi. So we've decided to move that show to the week after the 9th. Next week, guys. Next week. I don't know if this is going to happen or not because I'm not sure if these guys are serious or not. I'm not really sure what they are, but there's a YouTube show on Monday nights called Mormon Talk. And they wrote a book. I have the book somewhere. There's an entire chapter about furries and extraterrestrials. It's a very interesting read. And I've invited Carson O'Kimball to come on the show. Now, whether or not he shows up, I'm not sure. Again, I don't know if this is a parody or a real show. I'm not sure. But I do want to have a discussion with them if I can. So that'll be next week. And then the week after would be Natalie. So this week, it's going to be a bit of a surprise guest. But before we get started, I wanted to talk about a few things that we have upcoming too. It is those two shows. We also, of course, are thanking our sponsors, Atheist Troll Merchandise. Thank you very much for sponsoring the show for these wonderful shirts. You can always find those in my bio, or you can actually Google now Atheist Troll merch and it pulls it up. It's crazy. So how many times do you hear Christians on TikTok telling you how beautiful nature is? They tell you how beautiful nature is, therefore there must be a God. I want to show you some beautiful nature.
Look at this view. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's what happens in beautiful nature, considering everything in nature is trying to kill you. I just searched for Amazon for Atheist Troll merch and it worked. Yes, you can find me on Amazon as well. Not as many designs because Amazon's being bitchy about how many designs you can upload at one time, but we're getting there. I do want to just shout out all Atheist merchandise, not just my own, but all Atheist merchandise. Purchase some Atheist merchandise and wear it in public. Yeah, look, there's some. Those aren't mine, but if you you can scroll down a little bit, the top result there. Oh, sorry, that was my bad. This top result there. Let me pull it back into there. Sorry. So right there, Atheist Troll link tree. So look at that, number 1, and then you can click merch there at the top, and voila, you are now to the Atheist Troll merch website. It's amazing. I'm at the top of Google's search results. It happens. So anyway, pick up some merch there or visit another Atheist merchandise store. Just buy Atheist merchandise. That's all I really want. I just want you to wear something in public that is slightly offensive. Sammy Do wants to know, do we have any new designs? We actually do have some new designs. Those new designs are, well, let's see if I can pin them up here. Let me see if I can add it, because they did add a few really, really good ones. I'm actually very happy with some of these pieces that we've done, and I appreciate the help too that I've been given for ideas. Not only ideas from you guys, but also in many of the comments on some of my videos, a lot of people have been offering ideas for different shirts, for Bible verses that are good, things like that. So yeah, there are 2 shirts that I'm going to show you here. And these 2 are by far my 2 new favorite shirts. Here you go. So God sent bears to kill children, which is a real Bible verse. It's in 2 Kings 2:23-25. And here we have a nice graphic of a bear killing children. Yeah, if you like offensive merchandise, I don't know how this is offensive though. I don't see how it's offensive, because this is literally just what the book says. I didn't, embellish. This is the story. Some children were making fun of a bald man, Elijah, and God sent 2 female bears, according to the Bible, to maul 42 children. Seems like a fair punishment. Next one is this. Happy is the one who seizes your infants and dashes them against the rocks. Psalms 137:9. Again, this is exactly what it says. I did not embellish what the Bible says. So anyone that's upset with this shirt is upset with the Bible. That's really what the problem is. So if anyone sees this shirt and gives you shit, you just let them know to go talk to the author of the Bible, because that's who wrote this. That's who wrote it. It's not my fault that it's offensive. It's your book that's the problem. They didn't read that part of the Bible, probably. So let's get to this. I'm going to introduce my guest. You'll know him from TikTok, and know him from some of his other videos. I would say one of the guys I look to for some scientific advice too. So we're going to look at some scientific videos on TikTok and some other ones, and we're going to talk about that stuff. If you guys have questions, you can feel free to drop them at any time. I'll bring them up on the screen. Of course, you can super chat if you're on YouTube. And then also after that, we'll take some phone calls. Does that sound good? Does it? Anyway, here we go. So welcome, Mr. Cancel.Religion himself.
How you doing, Jeff?
So we watched a few videos before we got started, and then we want to talk about some of that stuff, some of those things. But tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is you do and where you get your knowledge from.
Well, the knowledge that comes from just being a nerd. I mean, I went into religion pretty early.
Did you Google it?
A lot of it, yes. You just got to be careful which Google articles you're going to actually be pulling your knowledge from.
Sure, of course. Yes.
But yeah, most of it is available online today. That's why it's wonderful to be in the smack middle of the golden age of information. If you really, really want to learn about something, put in some work and you will.
What are you doing?
I am getting ready to feed the giant tortoise.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so let's take a look at. Oh wait, what is it? Cancel.Religion knows exactly how to be on a live stream.
I do.
Yeah. Who says
Sorry.
sit down and be on camera when you got to feed a tortoise?
Well, I mean, if I don't, he's going to ruin my yard even further. So
I
you guys can see me, then I'll give you a peek at him as well.
Oh yeah, that would be very interesting.
Okay. What's up, buddy?
Someone
There
said
you
that
go,
they
huh?
thought this was the golden age of heated toilet seats. Oh wow, that is actually a really big tortoise.
Yes, he is. And like I said, he will ruin my yard. As he
So where did
pretty
you
much
get your
has.
love of reptiles? I know you have more than one reptile.
Well, my first reptile was an iguana, and she was special needs, and I was about 11 or 12 when she came in. She had a deformed lower jaw, and she could not eat without help. So we formulated a bond very quickly. And then she kind of taught me who I was going to be, who I was going to run from being for at least a good half a decade or so. But that is the main reason that I even came to TikTok, was to show off these animals and get them the respect that they deserve, you know. But theists,
Yeah, they're a very big presence on TikTok. That's for sure.
I came to find out, and man, oh man, oh man. So I went very quickly from being Triple H Reptile Rescue, which is who I really am in real life, to being Cancel.Religion. Because if every single time I have a situation where your supposed God did not show up, but you're going to rub it in my face that it's just so loving and real, well, I'm going to just start throwing some fucking logic at you people.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So you've been
And some anger.
You've been rescuing animals for how long?
Oh, most of my life at this point. Most of it, though, it was not in my own home. Like, a lot of it was just I go to them, try and figure out what's going on with them, what they need to change about their setup, get the husbandry and the habitat correct, and then let them do their thing. But once I got back from my little stint in Montana, I was kind of drawn back into it, and that's the heaviest I've ever been, to the point where they've ruined my house, but they are all healthy. And then the ones that I'm still working on, as usual, it's up in the air. We'll see.
How many do you have in the house right now?
Let's see, there's these 4 guys, the giant iguana, the 4 turtles here. We've got 2 turtles in the back. The water monitor, she's young, but she's still kind of a bitch. I think I got Chinese water dragon back here free roaming with 2 juvenile iguanas and 3 bearded dragons. Plus the tortoises. I think that's it right now.
That's a lot.
When I say that I have no time to myself, I really mean that I have no time to myself. TikTok is literally my downtime.
Yeah.
So it's time to blow off steam, because every time I walk into a room, somebody's left a new poop. Somebody's doing something they shouldn't be fucking doing. It's insane. And of course, finding homes for some of these large destructive animals is nil impossible. So they're here, and I got to deal with them.
Do you think
I love dealing with them.
Do you think a lot of people get one of those pets for their kid, and then they realize like they can't take care of it, or they didn't know what they were getting into?
No, I know that is the case. I see it far too often. They think that, oh, what a wonderful Christmas present or birthday present. The kid has no idea how to take care of an exotic from, say, the rainforest or the desert. They have no idea what they're doing, what they live on their natural habitat. They don't care to do any research a lot of the time, because a lot of this, and I'm not exaggerating when I say the greater majority of the animals I can't fix that come in are from good Christian homes.
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't do 5 minutes of fucking research to figure out what this guy needed. And it's like, dude, come on. And now you're going to sit here and try and bully me into believing how good you are. It's a fucking life right here that was under your responsibility. And you thought that they didn't feel because what? You weren't paying attention? You weren't seeing that they're in pain? Are you fucking serious? So it's just...
Well, speaking of Google, because we talked about Googling it, I got a video for you.
Proof.
I know who to.
Evidence. Show it. I think the reason why you won't show proof yourself or come up with proof of his non-existence, because you know there's proof that out there. I just Googled it. And you know you can simply Google it. But guess what would happen to your TikTok channel if you found concrete evidence like there is? You'd have no more content.
There's
you
no
have
concrete
to
evidence.
come up with something else to have content on.
You know what someone pointed out to me in that video, and I didn't realize, is at the very end of the video, if you listen to his TV in the background, the TV says, "You can get away with murder."
Oh, Vic.
Just listen to it. Listen.
Vic.
Content. And you'd have to actually come up with something else to have content on.
You can get away
We
with
see
murder.
what he's researching. Holy crap.
So
Typical theist.
I think this is one of the arguments I hear quite frequently, which is like, hey, because I'll say, hey, I don't believe that. I haven't seen significant, evidence to support that claim. Can you provide that evidence? And the answer that they give me is Google it.
Because they couldn't.
Just
so they
Google.
want you to do the rest of the work. And it's like, we've been on this goose chase on Google for much longer than you have, buddy. I promise.
Yeah, for sure. And it also, like you can Google Bigfoot. I can Google Bigfoot. Does that make Bigfoot real? Like if I went around and told you that Bigfoot's real, and then when I was pressed for proof, I just said Google it, would that be enough to substantiate my claim of Bigfoot?
And that's ironic because there is well more circumstantial evidence for Bigfoot than there is for their Yahweh. And it's like,
it's much more
ironic.
acceptable in the natural world that this could exist. But this God character, definitely from the way it's described, does not exist.
There is no algorithmic principle that would account for the requirement of God.
Well, that's a long sentence, but I think I got a video in here of Dr. Josh. I think he's got you beat here. Hold on.
And where did the organization come from, and where did the information come from? There's a whole host of questions that are a whole lot harder for you to answer than, in the beginning, God. Where's information
Where did
from?
Give up?
Man, this universe is not just random molecules circulating around. I mean, it carries information. Just like a book is so much more than ink on paper. It carries information. And the DNA is more than just chemicals. It's information. So the evolutionist never answers the question, where did this information come from? Where did the energy come from? Where did the matter itself come from? And you gripe about, I believe by faith in the beginning God. I admit I don't understand that. But you believe hundreds of things by faith. You don't even understand that you're believing by faith. You think matter is either eternal or can create itself. What?
So what about that last statement there where he says, you believe that matter is eternal or creates itself?
I mean, it's not an untrue statement, but it's not a belief that's based on absolutely nothing like what he's talking about. Their book literally says, in the beginning, there was nothing. It was a black void or something. You got to go to one of the original ones for it. But they say that there was nothing, and then they try and pin that on us like it's the physicists who have said this. And it's like, no, we've never said that. We'll tell you that the quantum foam is the smallest that we can see, and even it shows that there is no such thing as nothing. So his whole where did it come from? Well, a God, you're giving up. That's what you just told me. You gave up, so you went with the easy route, which is why I guess God did it, God of the gaps. And that's not going to do anything for you. It probably came from another universe very similar to ours, and it formulates singularities. So our universe was born with intrinsic values to create singularities, which is what it's doing across the board. Look at every single galaxy in the fucking void, and they are making a massive singularity.
What do you mean by there is no nothing?
There's no such thing as nothing. Even if you go to the smallest bits and you pull everything that you possibly can out of this box, so it's just an empty vacuum in the box, there is still charge occurring. You still have alpha and beta particles popping into, apparently, in and out of our universe, even with nothing in the box. It's called the quantum foam. And this is one of the biggest reasons that I hate it when a theist goes that route, because it's like, there's nobody in physics trying to tell you that everything comes from nothing. There's no fucking such thing as nothing.
They do like to use that argument quite frequently.
They do. And it's like,
life came from nothing.
Zero is hypothetical, people. It's a mathematical construct to define the things that do not actually exist in our universe.
Next video.
Now, I know there's a lot of talk right now about whether God exists or not, so I thought I'd help you guys out and prove that he does with scientific evidence. The Big Bang or God, or both. People think you have to choose one or the other, but you don't. The Big Bang was made up of atoms, and as we all know, atoms are a type of matter. Now, remember the law of conservation?
Well, hold on. Let's stop it right there. You said wrong.
Yeah, the Big Bang was not created or was not made up of matter and atoms. The Big Bang was nothing but raw, pure energy being unleashed into a brand new dimensional array that had no matter whatsoever. The universe had to cool thousands upon thousands of trillions of times beyond that what it started as before matter could even think about becoming a possibility. So that statement in itself is wrong. So
Big Bang happens. We have energy, but we don't have matter yet.
Right. Everything's too hot. I mean, it's just like plasma. It's literally plasma. Have you ever tried to put matter in plasma? Throw matter into a sun, see what happens. I mean, throw matter into your plasma torch. It's basically the same thing. Throw it underneath that, see what happens. Like, the matter does not survive when temperatures are too high. The dystrophy is just, it's huge. It's magnanimous. You couldn't even believe the pressures that would have begun within the first, million years of the universe's expansion. So, yeah.
So did we have photons of light at that point, or when did we actually start getting light?
Well, light is one of the four basic fundamental forces. It was one of the very first things to formulate in any kind of structure or design. It is part of the electromagnetic force. And this is, like I said, one of the big four. You don't have any one of the big four, you don't have this universe at all. It's chaos. It just falls the fuck apart. So photons themselves do occur in a state of plasma, but they're the kind of this phase shift between the two, where it's kind of a particle, kind of a wave, just like what you start seeing in the double slit experiment before you interact with the particles using light. So yes and no. It's more of a fluid when it's a plasma. So things are viscous and hot like you would expect in the mantle, and then it's going to take time to cool everything down and for space to drift between the matter that can formulate. And that's going to be after the antimatter collides with it and leaves just the smidgenest little itty bit of matter left over.
So let's go. I'm going to open the phone lines. I'm going to open the phone lines up. So the phone lines are open for those of you watching on YouTube, Facebook, or TikTok. We're on all three places right now. I appreciate that. You guys make sure to leave a like on the video if you like it. If you don't like it, if you don't like the video, that's fine. Just delete your account and leave.
Right.
So yeah. So okay. So what about the theory? Someone has asked, what about the theory that it's a leak from the fourth dimension?
That it's a what now? A leak?
Yes, a leak from the fourth dimension.
Well, I mean, the fourth dimension is all encompassing, to be honest. This whole
the fourth dimension, time, I thought, isn't that time?
It is exactly time, and time in itself is not a linear construct, according to what the greater majority of the math beyond the constraints of our universe is. And I mean, we don't get very much beyond, but there is still some that it's beyond. That's how you get towards the singularity. And once that shit happens, man, things go haywire. The math breaks down. It is a very clear sign that you are leaving the confines of this universe. And to do so, I mean, time would be a hyperspherical construct. You don't get anything happening at all without time. There is no entropy without time. I got a
phone call here. Hold on.
Okay.
Hello.
Caller.
Hello. Can you hear me?
There we go.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, hey, there you are.
Hi.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
This is, we're still getting the phones together and figuring that out.
No, I understand that. It's that 126 on TikTok or Writer for Life on YouTube because I have too many usernames. How are you doing?
Doing well.
How'd it do?
Did you have a question for us? I hope you got a good one.
I want to talk about miracles for a second.
Okay.
All righty.
Do you think that it is not even just the possibility of a miracle? Do you think that a miracle could happen? And if so, where would that show up?
First, we're going to have to talk about the defining principles that you are accounting as a miracle. For me, a miracle would be something that happens outside of the natural laws of order, something that just simply could not be according to the laws of physics. And yet, there it is. So
that's what I would go to. By the way, just for audience sake and for everyone's clarity, I am an atheist. I'm only arguing about the miracle stuff because I recently finished up the case against miracles, and so I'm curious where your guys' thoughts are.
It's pretty much the same thing. I mean, if it's something that the universe itself would deny, but yet here we go, then that's a problem. That would be considered something that is miraculous to me.
I always ask for an example. Like what is the example that they're specifically like what are they trying to prove? I guess like what is the specific event? And then we can investigate the specific event.
What they're wanting to claim is that I was born as a miracle through prayer by God.
Sure.
Oh boy.
So this is another way you can ask too. So for example, I had a coworker that told me that his son was born in a hospital unexpectedly to a doctor that was specifically trained on how to handle this situation with this child. So the reason that doctor was there was a miracle from God. So what I would ask that person is, what if that exact situation happened, but it was a different God that they were saying was responsible? How would you determine which God was responsible? That's a way to be, right. Oh, there's another factor involved here, because you being born, sure, could be miraculous, but there are plenty of children that die because they don't have whatever it may be. And then there are other children in India or Saudi Arabia or wherever else that are born, and it's a miracle, and they attribute it to a different God. So what's going on? That's how I ask it.
Pascal's rage.
Yeah.
instead of the wager. No, I'm not going to call. I'm going to raise you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, I know that if I bring in Shintoism at all, my mom is going to her eyes are going to cross and she's going to disappear.
Yeah, but I asked that, I'm very much big on epistemology. So I want to know how you determine this to be a miracle, but this other example to not be a miracle. What is the magic factor involved?
Right.
That we don't see,
Right.
Well, it's the same. I was watching a video on YouTube, and the guy, very popular YouTuber, and he does like gun stuff. And he was shooting a gun, and the gun misfired, and a piece of the gun hit him in his jugular.
Ooh.
Now he survived that situation, and at the end of it, he's like, thank God this and thank God that. And I mean, in reality, he got in an he went on an ambulance to a hospital to be air flighted to another hospital to get emergency surgery. None of that.
Every bit of that is human technology.
Yeah, none of that is God. If God's so powerful, why did he let the thing hit you in the neck in the first place?
Hello.
I mean, what if he was trying to kill you? That you could be spun any way, because you have an 8-year-old that finds a gun in someone's drawer and shoots themselves by accident. You don't interfere in that, but you'll interfere in this guy's YouTube channel that, he shoots guns for views or whatever. So I just, there isn't a way to measure this. There isn't a way to look at it. Actually, there is a way to measure it. And when we do measure it, it is the same probability as chance. It's yeah. So I always want to know the specific example. And then I say, well, what would you say if that exact thing happened, but a different God, like a different God was the one that was being claimed was the one?
Isis. It was Ishtar. I saw her. I saw her do it.
So yeah, that's how I say to that. Because I mean, there's really no way to tell who's responsible. And until you can figure out who's responsible, I would say we don't know, rather than it must be God.
Well, that's that whole scientific method thing, and you have respect for that and comprehension of that. They tend to not.
Yeah.
So, I think we see where the problem is there.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say, I didn't know if you had anyone else on the line, because I did have one other question.
No, go ahead.
Especially at Cancel, since I know Cancel has a lot of science background.
Sure.
My folks believe in creationism, and I want to do my darndest to show them that that's not true. This has only been around since the 1950s, you guys. So I'm not sure how I would be able to broach the subject of breaking down the science behind that's not how that works.
Well, it all boils into physics. That's why physics is always my go-to, because that is the study of how the universe works. The physical nature of matter and energy. Same thing. But a lot of it is going to come from chemistry. You got to have a basic knowledge of chemistry. You got to have a basic knowledge of biology. You got to have a basic knowledge of, astrophysics and astronomy. Especially if you're talking about the cosmos and how they work versus the few claims, but the incorrect few claims that their dumb book makes. Like, there was light, or there was days before there was a sun. How the hell was there was light before there was a sun, but there was no days before? What are you talking about? If you're talking biology, they're coming at you with the evolution standpoint. You got to know the lineage. They're going to hit you with that lineage. You got to know your Australopithecus. You got to know your Homo habilis, your Neanderthalis, and it's 6 or 7 different chains. As long as you get little key elements of things that you are grounded within that is going to prove their claims wrong, that's what you're going to want to focus on. And unfortunately, that all comes with math, and everybody hates math. I understand. I hated math too, but it's just repetition. And once you learn the equations, you got to memorize. You know what they mean. You know what they stand for. Fucking shit gets easy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because most of the work is done for you right there. The math, as long as you know what integers mean what, then you're going to be okay on the understanding. Now, that's going to break down in things like quantum theory, and a lot of people will come at you with quantum stuff because, but I heard this and that from quantum physics. Like, yeah, you heard this, and you automatically led yourself to that, which is ridiculous, because you're talking about massless particles as if they have mass. You're an idiot. But it's just you got to be well-rounded in pretty much every type of science. Start small and keep going. Whatever that does light you up, that's the one that you're going to run into, and that's the one that you're going to want to learn hardcore, because no matter what, you're going to have to learn them all.
Have you read the Dossier of Reason?
Dossier of Reason. Ooh, that's a new one.
So the Dossier of Reason, you can Google that when you Google it. You got to Google it. But the Dossier of Reason is a really good breakdown of all of the errors in the Bible. And there's an entire section about like shitty science in the Bible, which talks about all these things that the Bible's wrong about. Be it the like location of rivers to, the creation story, all of these things which are horribly wrong in the Bible are very laid out in a bullet point, thing.
It took us 40 years to do a 6-day trek through the desert. Oh.
Well, they were obviously going in circles. They got lost. Got lost. They wouldn't ask for directions, and none of them died, by the way.
Nada rained down from the skies.
Yeah, nothing dropped down. They didn't leave any artifacts behind at all.
Which is always nice.
It's very convenient, right? Leave no trace. They left no trace.
Yeah. Be as the ninja, my son.
Hey, Cancel.Religion. Do you have a like a Fitbit?
A Fitbit?
Yeah.
Nope, because I don't even know what the hell that is.
Do you count your steps?
Oh no.
You move a lot.
I know I do. I know. That's why I don't want a Fitbit in that case, because yeah. No, I'm always checking on animals, man. Always.
I guess, yeah, you got to check on your animals. That's sure.
Well, thank you so much for that. Hopefully, I'll start with that dossier, and then I'll also be working through, I really like human anatomy, so that's probably where I'm going to start first and work my way from there.
There's a, hold on, let me grab another suggestion that was given to me about a book for that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's going to help you a lot while he's grabbing that. I mean, that's jumping into anatomy is one of the best parts of jumping into biology. That's going to teach you so much of so much.
Mm-hmm.
So this book is called The Not So Intelligent Designer by Adam Afer.
I recommended that. I was the one who recommended that.
Yeah, it's a really good book. It talks about like all the crappy like the by the way, the chapter about childbirth is interesting.
Oh my gosh.
It has pictures and it just talks about like how terrible, like, you know, this, like it shows the birth canal and it's like how terrible of a design this is.
It really is.
For getting a child. Like
most species through. It is detriment. It's traumatizing.
And it starts with the testicles because that's going to get your attention.
Yeah, there's that. There's your foot. Like just your foot has so many unnecessary bones, which is why athletes have to wrap their legs so well or their ankles so well, and why injuries to your back and your feet are so common.
I mean, if it was really intelligent design, most of all of that would be ligaments and tendons.
Yes. I like that book. I'm actually probably going to do a TikTok about it at some point in the near future after I finish talking about the Nemesis series, because I really like it and I do think more people need to read it, and hopefully getting it out there, regardless of the backlash I'm probably going to get from Christian side of TikTok. Hopefully it will at least get people to know that this book exists.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it sounds like a damn good read. If I get some time on it, I'm going to have to give it a whirl because, that sounds like it's right up my alley.
Yeah, it's very well written, and it not only goes into the different examples, it also explains more about intelligent design and kind of where it came in and where it started up.
Yeah.
So
closest thing we have ever seen to intelligent design is the ignorant stuff we're working on with robotics right now.
I like those. I like robots though, and I like the Boston Dynamics robots.
I mean, I do too, but we just looking at them and we see how early in the stages we really are. It's
Skynet's coming though. Skynet's going to be there.
It's coming, and I'm certainly going to be more willing to be a pet than a slave. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, hey.
All right. I'll let you guys go.
Yeah, thanks for calling in.
No problem. It was good to talk to you guys, and
yeah, you too.
I'll get to talk to y'all too.
Yep.
Right on.
Bye. That was a good call to start. I'm glad.
I think so.
Yeah, I got the right people. Hold on. Someone sent me a text. Oh. Okay. Pasta's being funny, thinking he can make videos on the fly. But look at this beautiful, beautiful background we got here. Atheist Troll Live.
I'm digging that. Yeah.
We got a phone call.
See what we got here.
Hello.
Caller.
Sorry. Hello. You there?
Caller. Yeah, there he is.
Hey, what's up?
Do you remember me?
Do I what?
Do you remember me?
I don't know. I don't have enough information yet.
Tomorrow, when I called you for the other guy on the phone.
Oh yes. Oh yes, I remember.
Okay, so, do you have the theology telephone?
Like you can go ahead, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna call him.
Okay. Well, this should be interesting.
I must have been late to the show on that one. I don't believe I recall what is going on, but hey, I'm up for a surprise.
Sounds like we're getting a three-way.
Four-way.
Ooh.
Hey,
we got a $5 super chat from Writer for Life. Thanks for the call. It was very good.
Yeah, we're here. What's going on, Chief?
Well, man.
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing?
I just
Hey, I had a question for you. What about the biblical flood? Is that a real event?
Biblical flood?
Yeah, like Noah's flood. Did that actually happen, or is that metaphorical?
Like a metaphor. You asked me a question.
Yeah, Noah's flood. Like, did the earth flood in its entirety at one point in time?
According to the word of God, yes.
Okay, but do you believe that the world flooded?
I believe in the word of God.
Okay, but do you believe that the earth flooded at one point in time?
Yes.
Okay, so in its entirety, the earth was flooded.
Yes. According to the faith that I have on the word.
But what other evidence do you have?
So you think that Mount Ararat was the tallest mountain on Earth, and that the entire Earth was covered in water so much to the point that the only piece of land was the top of Mount Ararat? That's what you think?
Who's talking?
This is my friend. Yeah, he's a.
So this is I thought this was Jeff. I didn't know.
Yeah, there's two of us here.
No, yeah, this is the whole four-way, Chief.
You said the whole what?
It's the whole four-way. We're getting busy, buddy.
Yeah, it's like a group chat.
Wait, four of us?
Well, your buddy, me, my friend here. It's four of us.
Yeah. I mean, unless you don't count.
Wow.
What was you saying? I don't know.
I just don't know about this worldwide flood, man. It sounds made up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask that you provide at least some kind of geological evidence that's going to support an entire globe of flooding, considering we don't even have enough water on this planet to do what you're saying happened according to the word of quote unquote God.
I don't know the name, but I think your mic is enough.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Hello?
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. That's better. Sorry, your mic was getting in the way.
I know. I rushed back in afterwards. I had to move the damn tortoise out of the way.
We might have some rain coming. Be careful.
I think so.
Why was Noah the only person that knew how to build a boat in the entire world?
Especially one that was large enough to house two of every single species on the planet. How did he get the species that were on, say, like Australia or South America, though? You telling me that a 3- and 2-toed sloth was able to make that journey in a couple of weeks before the flooding of the planet? Chiefy boy, are you there, homie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I asked you a question there, bud.
No. The question was, he's on the phone. Yeah.
All right.
So is this just not going to go anywhere, or what?
Yeah, we're gonna move on. I'm gonna get a different call.
Yeah, it's not working. And I mean, it had promise. It had some promise.
It did. The biblical flood thing is just—it's nuts to me.
Oh, me too.
Oh,
like, come on, man. Use some common damn sense. And of course, common sense these days is uncommonly nonsensical. So
calling back. I'm not going to answer it. Sorry, buddy. We had our chance. We got to move on in the show. But hey, feel free to call in.
Next time, maybe lay off on the fire water beforehand. But
what's going on, man?
I don't know.
I don't even know what's going on anymore. We got people calling in, talking about blood. You got, matter.
But that was us.
Distance from nothing, apparently.
That one just, oh man, that one grinds my gears the wrong way. I'm going to drop the tranny one of these days.
So then so I know that time and matter did not exist before the Big Bang because
correct.
It can't.
Our time and matter. Our time and matter.
Let's talk about time for a second, because that's one is time completely a human experience? Like the way that we describe and experience time.
The linear fashion of it that we experience, absolutely. That is a human construct. It is a way for us to perceive something that is far beyond, at this point, our full perspective. Like, we understand that it's most likely a hyperspherical construct, meaning it moves in every single direction, everywhere, every when, all at the exact same time. But we don't fully comprehend how that's even going to happen, because, I mean, the size of that construct is just, we don't have a number for that. Like, how do we calculate that? But it's, for us, we experience things moving in what's called Planck increments, and that's from Maxwell Planck.
A what?
A Planck increment, Planck, because Maxwell Planck is the guy who came up with it. And pretty much what you can consider a Planck increment is the teleportation of one electron position to another around, say, a hydrogen atom. Because electrons don't actually move around like everybody is always thinking and trying to teach you in science class. It actually does what's called tunneling, and it moves from coordinate A to coordinate B without actually moving through space, apparently. It does no time increment itself other than the move, and that is the smallest increment of measurement that we can take. So that is a Planck increment. And Maxwell Planck is the one who first theorized that we break it down into the smallest thing, like we did atoms, and we'll find the smallest increments of time, of change, of entropy that we can actually account for in our universe. And that's what led us to understand that, it goes every direction. Holy shit.
So really, time, how do we say that? Time doesn't exist for the purposes of the way we experience it before the Big Bang.
Correct.
So there was no before the Big Bang.
Correct. I mean, technically, that is correct, because we're not talking about a dimensional array that even existed yet. The full aspect of time and energy itself, absolutely, it had to have existed. Otherwise, where did everything come from?
God did it.
Well, if you want to give up, then sure.
You want to give up? Yeah. I like the way to put that. Yeah, just go ahead and give up and say God did it. Like,
yeah, that's what it is. You're giving up. I don't understand, so God.
That's pretty much the truth of the matter, though. It's, I don't know, therefore God.
Right. And I'm not going to take all this time and patience that it's going to require in order to learn exactly what I need to fucking know. But luckily, there's people like Maxwell Planck and Schrodinger and fucking Mike Faraday and, Hawking. For Christ's sake, the man was my hero.
What was with Stephen Hawking, what do you think was his biggest achievement?
Destroying motor dysfunction or muscular dystrophy for 3 times the length of what the typical human being does.
Yeah.
And that he did it with just his brain, because that was about the only thing that worked well like that anymore anyhow. But they told him he was going to be dead before 30. The motherfucker was 76.
And what's really disparaging for me is that guy, super smart, brilliant, huge, and a huge roadblock to him being able to do his work. Muscular dystrophy, huge roadblock. But look at what he achieved. And I suck at 3rd grade math because I just don't want to put the time into it. And I can use my body just as well. So it's just crazy to me what he was able to achieve with such a sandbag or an anchor attached to his ankles.
I mean, for me, if I had anything that I could do, it would have been to live in his brain and actually hear his self-talk for a decade of that. Because the things that he wasn't able to express because he couldn't express them other than that stupid fucking voice box. Imagine the motherfucker realized that black holes that are stellar in size are giving off radiation, and this accounts for the particulates that we see that don't seem to have counterparts, yet they are clearly an alpha or a beta particle. You can't fucking see a black hole. This guy visualized it. He fucking visualized it.
Yeah, and then recently we got, did you see the updated black hole picture with the magnetic waves?
Oh, talk about a gasm in my pants. Okay, for a man who gave up on all that stuff over a decade ago, I was very quickly about, do I still have her number? Holy shit. Because that was sexy. That I've been waiting to see something like that my entire life, pretty much. So
they're still going through the data. I mean, there's just so much data that to go through. It's something.
I mean, how is there not going to be? It's freaking. Oh god damn it!
It's like 16 terabytes or something.
Oh, it's huge. And it has to be, because how else are you going to get in there just to see Sagittarius A star that way? It's. I mean, it's the celebrity of our entire galaxy. Without her, that's our mother right there. Without her, we wouldn't even be here, because it's just her gravity that keeps our galaxy in motion. Without Sagittarius A, we would be flung out into space. We would grow cold. There's no way that our sun would have been able to coalesce and turn on with fusion. It never would have happened.
About the black hole at the center of our galaxy.
You got him. Name is Sagittarius A star, and definitely one of my favorite bodies in the night sky.
Yeah.
Even though I've never seen it. Well, technically now I kind of have.
Yeah. True, yeah. Now we can, and it's interesting because all we're doing is taking, because we're limited, as the way that we perceive everything. We can only see certain certain wavelengths of light and things like that. I'll tell you what I'm most excited for as far as a recent or upcoming scientific event is the James Webb.
Yes, I knew you were going to say J Webb.
Yeah. I can't wait for James Webb to be put up. And for those of you that don't know, we have Hubble is very outdated, and it's too close to the Earth to be able to see into deep space. And so
first and foremost,
what they're going to do is actually launch the James Webb. It's going to be out really far, like 3 times further than the moon. And
almost to Mars. And I mean, we're talking about a machine that is, instead of the size of, a little Volkswagen scooter like Hubble, now we're talking about something that is a fucking school bus long. And it's got fold out badass wings, bro. It's amazing.
Yeah, so the James Webb out there and be blocked. Use the Earth and other celestial bodies to block some of the radiation that sort of poisons the image.
Right.
It has these huge hexagonal mirrors that are in there to look
gold
for
plated.
No, wait, it's not using it's tilted, right? So it can use the sun hits one side and then imaging is on the other side. That's how it blocks out.
Well, I mean, the sun that's hitting it is just going to be on the solar panels themselves, and those are kind of hidden around the cooling shell, the sheets that roll out on the sides of it. But I mean, yes, the mirrors themselves, the gold plating, that is what we're going to actually be pointing at the objects that we want to look at. These things are just so perfect. I mean, we're talking it's a single micro element, just one atom thick of gold plating across these just gorgeous honeycomb windows, mirrors. And just the things we're going to be able to see. We'll be able to see before the Big Bang actually started if we crank it up the whole way, I'm pretty sure.
How can you see before the Big Bang?
All you're going to see is the singularity. So you'll see that one finite piece of dot, like what you expect to see on those old TV screens that, you turned them off and you get that line as it's going back away from the 2D, and then you get that little dot that just sits there for a while. That's what we should be seeing.
So what kind of radiation is that? What are we actually imaging?
The universe itself before expansion.
Yeah, but is that infrared? Is it like, what is it that we're seeing? Is it?
It will be everything. we'll be able to see it in X-ray. But I mean, most everything that we're going to be looking at with web is going to be infrared. I'm pretty sure those are the only cameras that we really put on it, because that's what we need to get through dust and clouds and all that bullshit that the cosmos keeps throwing at us. So most of that, it will be infrared anyway, but we would be able to see this in every form of light other than visible, because it's just too fucking far away.
They're supposed to launch that pretty soon, actually, I think.
They were supposed to launch it like 6 fucking years ago.
That's true. October 31st, 2020 is the launch date.
Yes.
It is cost so far. It is so far cost $10 billion.
I know, but it's such a small cost for being able to know specifically what was happening at the earliest moments of the fucking universe. Plus, the things that we're going to be able to see so much further away now, we're going to have a way closer view of the actual observable limitations of the universe. That means we'll know pretty much how big, at least what we can see, what we will ever be able to interact with, because nothing moves faster than light, how big it really is. And that would pretty much be the limitations of our universe, period, because, I mean, what else fucking matters? We'll never get there. Nothing moves faster than light like that.
That we know of. Maybe
right.
Jesus on a scooter can go faster than light.
Well, I mean, now that we're kind of thinking that there is no dark energy, just dark matter, we might be able to use dark matter to formulate a gravity pocket and go way fucking faster than the speed of light.
Wait, this sounds like some Star Trek stuff.
Almost. The only problem that we would have with that, with not being able to do it, is the fucking friction. I mean, the heat that's generated inside the bubble at that point is just, I mean, good luck. Good luck. You're not going to go home.
Yeah, we are actively working to cancel. Just a note, we're actively working to cancel Nate's show, A Lady Late with Nate. It's been poorly received, honestly, and it needs to go. It needs to go.
Okay.
Sorry, just a matter that needs to be talked about.
Okay, we'll throw it in.
Wow. Anyway, let's get back. Hold on, we got to I'm gonna put the phone number back up. Hey guys, the phone lines are open. Let's take one or two more calls, and then we're gonna wrap it up. So 678-506-5108 as Mr. Cancel.Religion goes ahead to feed his turtle. Are you feeding the turtle right now? What are you doing?
I am making a cigarette because I am a fucking lowly addict.
Well, aren't we all? So 678-506-5108. Call in. Prove your God claim. I'm still waiting for evidence that Jesus Christ existed.
At all,
yeah.
Period. Like, come on, man. Give me something that's not fucking anecdotal, you sons of bitches.
Let me read. So, and everybody likes to bring up Bart Ehrman. Bart Ehrman this, Bart Ehrman that. Let me read you a quote from Bart Ehrman. In the entire first Christian century, Jesus is not mentioned by a single Greek or Roman historian, religious scholar, politician, philosopher, or poet. His name never occurs in a single inscription and is never found in a single piece of private correspondence. Zip. Correct. Zero. Nada.
Zilch. And it's the same way with his entire 3.5 decades on the planet, supposedly. So, I mean, come on. The best bookkeepers in fucking history, really, before us, didn't fucking write and say, oh, hey, guess who walked through town on the other side of the fucking town today? Come on, really?
Oh, I had an unknown call.
Uh-oh.
Let me call. I'm going to call this person back. They sent me a text message.
Okay. This is my jam.
Okay, I can't play it too. I can't play the whole thing.
All right.
I don't want to get demonetized.
Please leave your message for 6166.
Well, okay.
So close.
Don't want to read that out. Yeah, they said give me a call back. I did. You didn't answer. You tried.
Oh well. Oh well. Oh well.
So anyway, Give us a call, 678-506-5108, and ask your science question for Cancel Religion.
Come on, man, throw me something.
Yeah, donate a camera for him. Yeah, we'll get you a computer and a chair.
I wish that was the problem.
So do you spend your days typically just taking care of these animals and rescuing?
That's it. I mean, you wake up, you do their medications when you get a chance, you do their food, you do their bath times, you try and handle any of the messes that they made. Oh yeah, man. Some of these guys that are, especially when they're sick, they do it all over themselves, and you got to clean that shit up. Can't leave it on them. So
is the tortoise pretty easy to take care of?
I mean, his are in clumps, so yeah. I mean, then he just kind of goes around and does his thing now that he's pretty well fucking destroyed everything.
We just heard Nate's show is being canceled because they didn't pay their electricity bill.
That's unfortunate.
So hey, Cancel Religion, we're gonna have an opening on Wednesday nights.
Oh shit.
We get you a proper setup, like a chair and a computer and a camera and a mic. You could just go live on Wednesday nights in Nate's place and talk about science.
Fucking A. I mean, I'm pretty sure I could clear out the days on Wednesdays once a week. That should work.
Nate, just go ahead and send all your equipment over to Cancel Religion.
There you go. It'll get used, probably.
It'll get used, cleaned, and pooped on.
Oh, no, they won't be able to go around the workstation still.
But
gotta have my resources.
But really, I think that, like if people are looking to get a new, let's say they want to buy their kid a reptile for a gift, what would you suggest that they get them? It's easy.
A plush reptile, a stuffed reptile. Don't get a real animal for a child, period, unless they are utterly swamped and know absolutely everything about that animal.
Okay, hold on. I'm making another call.
Okay.
Hey, caller, what's going on? You gotta turn your speakers down there.
Yeah, is that better?
Yeah, you sound great.
Hey.
All right. Hey, Cancel.Religion, it's Spaz. How you doing?
I knew that voice already.
So, not only do I love the whole science part of it, but one of the things that I really want to drive home, especially when it comes to this whole theology part about it, is the Stockholm syndrome.
Oh, goodness.
In all of it. Right?
It's literally built-in stock home.
Right. So you've got things like Genesis 17:11, right? For this deity clearly tells his chosen people to physically mutilate not only their own genitals, the genitals of their children,
right,
but the genitals of their slaves as a contract.
I mean, come on, man. Really? Genital mutilation to an infant? You guys are fucking crazy.
And tell me where this makes sense. This is the number one, pushback that I get from every single theist that I bring up about this. Okay, is well, we still practice it in forms in other countries here, and to me, it's like, well, hang on a minute. So what you're saying is just because other people murder, it's okay to murder, right?
Yeah, I never got that argument. I never got the. First off, I remember back when I had just become atheist, and I was, I was recently single, so I was going through some of the dating apps, and there was some girl on there, and her main picture was her protesting circumcision. And I was like, I don't understand that. Why were you protesting circumcision as a practice? And I didn't realize, it is genital mutilation in its core. And it's now I'm thinking, why do we do this? Why is this a thing?
It's for cleanliness. Oh, come on.
Well, from the research that I found so far, and I don't have the actual names of who exactly implemented it, but what I found so far is it was introduced to kind of reduce masturbation.
What?
That's it. That's it. No joke.
Do they not comprehend that? I mean, having the tip right there and available is perfect for pommy. That's come on, man. That's Every friggin' 12-year-old boy learned that shit, I'm sure. Man, I know I couldn't have been the only one. Like, hello, just polish. Where do you think the term polish the fucking knob came from?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I would actually like to touch on like two more subjects, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so one, like when you were bringing up, you know, the flood in Noah, right?
Oh.
So two things I'd like to say about it. One, okay, yes, theologies, you know, from ancient societies that talk about a type of flooding, and it's like it completely passes their brain that yes, there are going to be local floods. That's not something that's, you know, out of the plausibility of things to happen. It's you know, understand comprehension that it was somehow this global flood over what they thought was the tallest mountain, which was nowhere close. Okay?
Yeah,
Then
the Matterhorn is like, yo.
Then you've got the ones that go, but they found fossils on the top of these mountains, and it's like, do you not know what plate tectonics are?
Yeah, but you go back to like the flooding stuff is early, you know, civilizations were near rivers and water sources. Right. So it makes sense that they would experience a flood because you're near a fucking river. And so here's the other one I like is like they're like, well, you know that all these, you know, all of these societies have written documentation about a worldwide flood. Well, how if it was a worldwide flood, how the fuck did they all write it down?
Right. Not only that, but who forgot to tell Russia? Who forgot to tell Japan and China? Yeah. Most of China. Who forgot to tell the fucking Andes in South America and Australia?
So Noah's Ark happens. Noah's the only one to survive, and somebody wrote it down before the flood in the Aztecs. Like, you know, like I don't. How did they get the story from Noah? You know, like if he was the only one to survive, him and his family, then why are people in, you know, North America talking about a flood that has anything to do with Noah at a different time frame? Right. It doesn't make any sense.
None. And I love it. Like there would be no species alive, freshwater or saltwater, left in the oceans.
What about the plants?
Oh yeah, there's no way. There's not even a thought of anymore.
It's insane.
But the olive branch.
Yeah, whatever. Get out of here. Yeah, but
olive trees grow at the fucking high mountains. Yeah,
and then kangaroos were gonna somehow, you know, go from Mount Ararat to Australia and not die along the way.
Hippity hop.
You find a fossil of a marsupial of any kind, really, anywhere along that path, you're gonna get your Nobel Prize.
Right. The only marsupial that we have on any other continent at all, other than, you know, the side end of Madagascar, is here with the possum, and it's not even a real marsupial. So
I don't know much about marsupials, to be honest with you.
They're mostly just Australian.
That's kind of like, you know, the problem of, well, how did all these animals like from the Galapagos Islands, Australia, all that other place, you know, make it back?
Yeah, the two-toed and three-toed sloth, like I had mentioned earlier, it got its ass back to fucking South America, did it? Moving it at a whole inch an hour in its life. Come on.
Yeah, it makes about as much sense as the Bible.
Yes, exactly.
It's almost like they made it up. It's almost like they made it
up. Last one I'd really like to cover, right, is, you know, I try to bring this up all the time, that not only can a lot of these theists not even agree on which form of deity they actually follow, but there's always that question of, you know, the all-knowing and all-powerful part. And the question I love to, you know, shoot at them is, well, which one do you believe in? Do you believe in the God that, you know, knows absolutely everything? He knows every choice that you make before creation. Meaning that, I mean, if the whole heaven and hell thing is a thing, he created certain people for the sole purpose of suffering. And then if they go with the route that, well, it's not that he knows what choice you'll make, it's just he knows all outcomes of all choices. Okay, well then how is he all knowing? Because obviously there's something he doesn't know.
Right. And I love that when they do the Trinity, the tribunal, all-knowing, all-loving, and all-powerful. It's like, you cannot be all three at the same time. Look at the fucking cosmos around you. It's chaos out there. Either he's all-loving and all-powerful and malevolent, or he's all loving, all knowing, and not all powerful. I mean, you can only have two of the three with the way that the fucking universe is built on reason alone. But then they'll throw in the whole, well, he made you, so he owns you. He can do whatever he wants with you. It's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, so he's just an asshole.
Yeah, so you're a fucking moron, and this is why you refer to him as your shepherd, because you are a fucking sheeple. That is what that is. Gotcha. You're a bad thinker.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you guys very much for having me on here. I'm greatly appreciative. But go in and take my insulin because, like you said, the high intellectual design kind of failed on me. So
right.
Yeah, it's true. It does seem to happen to the best of us.
I mean, what the fuck is the appendix about? Come on.
What about the gallbladder? What about
Jesus?
What about
tonsils?
Yeah.
Heartworms, fucking protozoans.
I'm very appreciative of it, and keep up the good fight for sure.
You know it, brother.
Thanks for calling. What would you, if you could change one thing about the I'm doing air quotes, design of the human body, what would you change?
Breeding aspects.
Okay. What do you mean?
It would be as difficult as learning chemistry.
so if you needed to make a baby, you'd have to
understand what the fuck you're doing. Yes.
Yeah.
On
a
makes sense. Chemical level. Yes.
Yeah, that would be fantastic, actually.
I mean, we would probably die out before we got to the super race, but I mean, at that point, we would understand at least anybody who is breeding. The only way you get to the super race is by diversifying your portfolio in genetics. So we would be going for the exact opposites from culture-wises in order to make those, and we would know that at least our kids are going to be smart because, hey, genes work in specific ways called recessive and dominant traits. So
not everybody knows that. Well, we may take one more phone call, 678-506-5108. If you guys want to call in before the show closes and get it in, let me know. If you have any issues calling in, you can go ahead and text that number as well, because I get text messages. So yeah, you can text and say, call me, or
hey.
Yeah, hey. It doesn't work, but and I get quite a few voicemails too. Some of them I don't know how to handle.
To answer that question seriously, though, I don't think that there would be one single thing that I could possibly think of genetically to change with human beings, because there's just so much wrong.
Sure. I guess through gene therapy.
Right. That would probably be the closest thing that I think I would get to, is the innate ability to reprogram your genes on a conscious level. Yes. That way your diseases are going to go the fuck away. But again, I would probably have to throw a stipulation on there to access that capability. You better fucking understand it. Like,
yeah, for sure.
We don't want Charles Manson going, oh, well, I'm going to just go ahead and think myself immortal today. That'll work.
Well, yeah, but you would have to be able to do some sort of gene modification in a lab
you would think.
To like an embryo. I don't think you could gene modify an already born human being.
That depends on how good your skin matrix comprehension is, to be honest.
Any good skin matrix comprehension. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, skin matrix is pretty much what your stem cells turn into when they already know what they're going to be. So with combining bald, just brainless stem cells, ones that have no kind of programming aspects to them, to whatever thing you want to remake, and applying that to a skin matrix, you're going to get that organ. So it's pretty much just the way you heal.
Increase intelligence or a gene for cancer.
Something like that. You would have to be able to, again, it would come down to a skin matrix, a tissue matrix in that sense, because you'd have to open up new neural pathways, and typically your brain isn't going to do that. It'll it'll formulate new pathways to do what it needs to do, but it doesn't generally grow new cells like that, new endings. Like it's kind of like your nerves. You fuck your nerves up, you fucked your nerves up. So, and I know all about that.
You can't use stem cells to regrow your nervous system.
To regrow what now?
Your nervous system?
With a little bit of genetic reprogramming, yes, absolutely. Skin or stem cells can be anything. The only reason that we don't grow everything all over again is because regenerative stem cells don't really happen in our cells once they know what they're going to do. It's just a laid out blueprint. Some animals have been around long enough that they'll start to do that. Some forms of lizards, et cetera, et cetera. You'll see it in their tails. Spiders will do entire limbs. But I mean, shit, you're talking arthropods, and arthropods are literally the oldest animal species on the planet. They go back 450 million years. So
hey guys, in the comments, if you have any questions for us, feel free to drop your comment. I'll put it up on the screen and we'll answer it.
But yeah, I mean, with the proper technology, we would absolutely be able to change an active body.
So I was in Denver at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science one night. And they had this thing where they do like lectures and, you know, open stuff, whatever. There was a lady there that was doing research on multiple sclerosis. And what she had done is they used gene therapy to modify the genes of a specific fish species. And what they did is they caused the fish itself to be clear and the spinal nerve endings to glow. So she could, under the microscope, actually look at the insulators and see with certain medications that they gave this fish, is it growing the insulator or is it reducing it? Like what's going on? And you could actually look at a microscope and look at these fish spines and
radioactive isotopes, man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They use something. It's a phosphorescent attribute that they took from, I think, a frog or something. I don't remember exactly what she was doing.
It's the same thing that they make the glowfish with.
Right. Yeah. So maybe that's what, you know, they were able to modify the genes of this fish to make the spinal nerve endings glow under black light.
So you can watch them fire. That's amazing.
Cool. And she was working, that was her thesis for her doctorate.
Well earned, madam. Well earned.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and what she wants to do is, you know, solve this multiple sclerosis issue.
Good on her. I hope she does too, because that's going to be like, we're really, if we want to speak legibly on this, the only reason that we don't already have reconstructive genetic therapy that is literally nanites or even just an injection of the deoxyribonucleic acids that we need to reproduce is because of religion. That has it's held us back on every turn that we wanted. We found the stem cells. They said, fuck you. We found the genetic repairs. We said, fuck you. If they would back the hell up, we would already be immortal, you and me, right now. We would be fine. I wouldn't be worried about these animals anymore because I just give them a fucking shot that I just made from Walmart supplies.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've heard some, you know, discussions too, where if religion hadn't gotten in the way with the Dark Ages, we would have been on the moon 200 years ago.
Easily. I mean, we already had people like Giordano Bruno who was telling them that your God is too small. Your heaven is too small. Every single one of those stars out there are suns just like our own, and they probably have planets around them too, just like our own. And they locked him in a fucking cage for his entire goddamn life because he said that.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, are you serious? That was the first real astronomer in fucking history that we can really talk about that was thinking on a physics scale, and he was right.
Yeah.
And you guys locked him the fuck up because, your God is too small.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nuts. It's nuts. And and I'm happy to see that. I think we're starting to win a little bit with this age of information and getting more people to research things and think critically. And I think that's the idea, is the scientific literacy to increase and for people to just be more critical of the information and try and figure it out, you know, and not lose that thirst for knowledge. I think that kids are naturally born curious until people tell them to sit down and shut up and listen to authority.
Right.
Stay curious, ask those questions.
Right. The only thing that I would shut a kid up on is if they were questioning anything beyond the 5 rules that govern everything. And of course, the very first one, as you were just talking about, is question everything. Everything, especially the things that you are most comfortable about. Because if you're comfortable with something that's wrong, you shouldn't be comfortable, period. But I mean, from going there, it's 5 rules. Like I said, question everything. Reserve your judgment. You do not walk into anything thinking that you know anything about that something until you actually have data, which is the 3rd and 4th. Reserve the data that is useful, and 4th, get rid of the data that's not. After that, everything that you've learned, you present to your peer reviews, your other thinkers, and if they get the same shit by doing the same shit, guess what? You just found yourself a good theory. If not, back to the fucking drawing board. And that's literally how we've gotten everything in society at all.
EA Show, you got a question? You can ask it. We'll answer it.
Go for it.
I saw you asked something earlier. It said, LOL, so religion is that powerful to be able to hold you back. Yes, it is. I wouldn't say religion necessarily, but the idealism of religion with physical human beings, they do stop you quite frequently.
I mean, ignorance is physically tough sometimes.
Yeah. But yeah, what's the question, EA Show?
Let's go.
Bring it. Nate, the phone number's on the screen.
That beautiful, ugly mug of mine. That's right. Come and challenge the Hobbit Ogre. Yeah.
Let's see. I think people who ain't scientists talk about science, and people who don't play basketball talk about basketball. Big whoop. That's how learning happens. No?
I mean, we would hope that it would be that way a lot of the time, but no, typically it's the people who are not able to play the sports who are obsessed with the sports, and the people who don't want to do the science want to do the sports.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wish, because then there would be a lot more self-trained scientists. And you know what? A lot of the number crunching and shit like that, that's done by people who don't have PhDs. They just love the work. And there's nothing wrong with that. The whole reason behind the 5 rules of the scientific method is to make sure that everyone can do it. Like, period. That's everyone.
Okay, hold on. Here we go. Here's our question.
Mm-hmm.
You said physical human beings. Is there such thing as a non-physical human being? If not, why the need to insert the word physical? Just emphasizing that a religion is not necessarily physical. Like, a religion cannot stop someone from doing something. It requires a human being, which is physical, to stop you from doing whatever it is. That's all I'm saying.
And what I had said was that sometimes ignorance is physically strong. I mean, that's something that you can't stop a hard object with a fucking massless object. If it has weight, it's going to go through it. That's the first law of cosmodynamics right there. Newton gave us that. A body in motion tends to stay in motion. So if it has more weight, it crushes.
Do you think we will colonize another planet in our lifetimes?
Probably, unfortunately. I say unfortunately because we'll probably do it before we have gotten rid of all the stupid bullshit that holds us back, what makes us hate each other over pigmentations or other things that we couldn't help and we had no choice over at time of birth.
But what you think? Oh, obviously Mars. You know where I would like to go, though? I'd like to go to some of Saturn's moons.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the best chance that we're going to have for other life in our universe right now, or in our solar system right now, that is pliable and still active, is on Enceladus or what's it called? Europa, because both Jupiter and Saturn have huge ocean moons, and they have tectonic activity happening inside. So that's all you need.
Is that was it Europa that they detected an FM radio signal from?
No, the signal was from Enceladus, I do believe, and that was mostly just ricocheting off of a starburst from before.
Yeah.
Like, it just happened to be that it caught it right then and there, which does fucking happen. But it was nonsense. It was just
So we
the
need
signal of light.
Can you please refrain from commenting on the chat members' physical looks, please? Pasta.
What?
That's enough. We don't need that in the chat. Let's just cut that out.
Oh, I'm not even looking in there. So knock it off, Pasta.
Hey, forget who posted it, but there was some video on TikTok the other day about how God created Jupiter to protect the Earth from asteroids.
Oh, yes, God was totally on board with that one, but it's a shame he can't protect the little babies from getting the worms that eat the back of their eyes out, or, maybe leukemia.
There's a specific parasite.
Yes, that's what I was just talking about.
That goes up your urethra.
Oh, you're talking about the Candiru catfish. And that's more just a legend. It is attracted by the urea, but there's no way that thing is getting up your pecker.
Regardless, God created it.
What he did actually create that does exist, though, is this little parasite worm that if you are under the age of 13, you are in danger of. And this is in the Amazon forest. It will eat your eyes out from the back of your skull until you are absolutely fucking dead by laying eggs everywhere else if you are under 13. If you're above 13, it doesn't fucking give a shit about you. But this little worm does this as long as you're a kid. What the fuck was that about, God?
The first question from EA, what he was asking is, are we not burning holy books tonight? A bit tongue-in-cheek, but it's all in good fun.
I'm always burning a holy book in my head.
Yeah, I have holy books like this one, but I don't typically burn them. Actually, that's a bit much, isn't it?
Cancel Vertigo.
Just having fun back there. Pasta's backstage. He's lucky I don't bring him on. Yeah, he's back there having a good time making some stuff. But yeah, I don't typically burn stuff that frequently. I don't know why.
I do if it's going to make some cool colors because I've added some nifty elements, but
right.
I mean, unless it's somebody who really needs to see that Bible burn, I'm not going to do it. It just seems pointless. What's it going to do? What's it going to do?
This one, I don't know, Charlie. I don't know if you're talking about somebody else, but Big Pharma who makes babies sick thing. It's interesting is that pediatricians are the lowest paid doctors on average. So what we would have to assume, and this is goes with vaccination and things like that too, because you would have to then assume that these people went to school for 7+ years to get a degree, a doctorate, went to residency, and then want to just make children sick. That's why they want to take less money and then make children sick. So that's why I always am a little perturbed when people say things like, oh, the doctors just want babies to be sick. No, they didn't go to school, do all that work to then make babies sick. They
need to keep in mind too that these aren't the same people that are making the decisions to make the EpiPen $600 fucking dollars.
Right.
That's not the doctors that are doing that. The doctors are in it because they want to be in it. They're going to follow whatever rules are set to them because they don't get their fucking grants to do the work that they're doing otherwise. But they don't make any of those laws. They don't set the prices. They don't do any of that. That is the corporate value. And that corporate value, a lot of them are good Christians, if you ask them. So they can go ahead and blow one out their ass and sit on a sideways cactus.
Yeah, let's cancel brain-eating worms.
Right? What is that about, God? What's that about? Why did you make fucking worms that only eat kids' heads?
Hey, Grumpy's in the chat. A book is an inanimate object. If you are offended that I use a Quranic P, you are too indoctrinated. It's true. Probably.
Yep. True that.
Well, guys, let's see if we have any. Oh, wait a minute. Atheist Cats, where have you been, man? I haven't heard from you forever.
He probably got booted and banned too, like all of us are getting.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. But hey,
10,000 friends gone.
Well, Cancel Religion, I'm gonna let you get out of here, I want you to tell us a little bit about where we can find you and what content you make. Take us out here.
TikTok, Cancel.Religion. Used to be Cancel.Religion, but I think I just covered why it's not anymore. And I came to TikTok because I was trying to do the lizard stuff, but it's become very painfully clear that there's another fight that needs to be played there because I pretty much got the lizard thing handled. I wish there was more people on the front lines doing what I do with rescue type stuff, and that is a very difficult calling to get with because, you get plugged into these animals and you get emotionally invested and you can't fix them all. And when you can't, man, it's rough. So it takes a heart and it takes a spine and it takes a good brain too. But no, for the most part, I guess you're just going to find me on TikTok speaking against the fucking oppressive religious, because until they figure out that you can believe whatever the hell you want, just don't be dicks about it to everybody else. I got a voice and I'm going to use it.
That sounds good. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming on the show.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, I'll see you guys around.
You know it, man.
So, oh yeah, there we go. Cancel cameras, guys. There he is. Cancel.Religion. Fantastic show. I'm really happy with it. And we're going to, so next week we got Mormon Talk. I'm doing my best to make sure they're on the show, but I really have no idea what to expect from them, to be honest. So look it up on YouTube. They go on Monday nights. So tomorrow night, take a peek at Mormon Talk. Of course, we have our TART, our Tang call-in show. So pay attention for that as we have that upcoming over the next few days. And maybe watch Nate's show. If you really need to. Cats, I heard you got a tooth pulled. I'm sorry about that, but I'm glad you got it fixed. I need you though. We're gonna talk. I'll send you a message privately, and we'll get some stuff together. So next week, Mormon Talk. Okay, we're gonna be doing that one. That is with Carson O'Kimball. If he shows up, I'm not sure. The week after that, we have Natalie. Natalie is a CRM, a cultural resource management geologist with a focus on lithic anthropology. Former member of the Methodist Church, and we will be discussing evolution, both natural and cultural. So that's next Sunday, 2 Sundays from today. What is that, the 9th? And is that the 18th? It's 18th, right? Is that right? 18th. Anyway, so hey guys, I appreciate you coming on, watching the show tonight. Shout out to Tang and TART crew for supporting me in the show, and shout out to Pasta Mike for helping me out, making some cool logos. Look at these things. Look at these things, guys. Cool logos for the show. Always making cool stuff.
Just before you go, bro. Hey, look.
Where is that coming from?
Just before you go, hold on. Folks in the chat, you got 36 folks in the chat right here. How about dropping some super chats real quick? The fastest super chat gets a Just Jeff shirt. Okay, and it's the one he's wearing, by the way. It's the actual one. Yeah.
Yeah, I won't wash it.
We're going to let the stream run for a little bit. Let's get some super chats for Jeff. Jeff doesn't do this shit for free. So let's get Jeff paid. Cash money. Jeff is a filthy heathen. And yeah, basically
pay for this microphone.
It is. Let's go. Come on.
Expensive.
Put your wallets out. Let's get your wallets out, folks. We take Amex, a MasterCard. Do we take MasterCard, Jeff?
We don't take Discover.
It's Discover we don't do.
Yeah, we don't take Discovered.
You guys can pay us in Hebrew. Yeah, we do hermeneutics. We got a hermeneutics translator. So if you try and pay us with Arabic money, if the EA show is still in here, Arabic money is fine.
Show gave us $5. He said poop.
Oh, hey, awesome. Big shout out to Justin. I don't know how to pronounce his new name. Justin, shout out, bro.
Also, we got Atheist Cats who said ew to the poop.
Shout out to Big Kenny.
Nate's in here talking about me being an expensive date. That's true because I have high standards, unlike you.
And you're listening to the Normalizing Atheism. You're listening to the Normalizing Atheism podcast with Pasta Mike. Just a little bit of a selfless plug there. Sorry about
that. Everybody needs shirts. Look at this one right here. God sent bear. Look at the graphics. Look at these graphics. So
those graphics.
I actually got a guy to draw those for me. He lives in Indonesia, and he drew these pictures for me, this one and this one. And I don't know if he knows what I'm using them for.
I think he's clueless, to be honest with you.
Probably. Oh, look, Atheist Chico. Hey, quit bailing on me and play some Call of Duty with me.
The Cheekster.
The Atheist Chico.
The Atheist Cheekster in the house. Hey, shout out to Atheist Chico, man. I mean, he does.
He's dropping the big one. I need a
the
bumper.
old cuss, man.
What does that mean? What does he mean? I need a bumper maker. What does that mean?
I think that's one of the devices that you press T-shirts with. That's my guess. I'm sticking.
I don't physically make the shirts.
Shout out to Grumpy Old Cuss, man. Hey, go check out Grumpy's new channel. Grumpy's got a new channel. Click on Grumpy. Hit that like and subscribe.
Yeah, someone put the link in there for Grumpy's channel. Grumpy, go get your own link. You did that. People can subscribe.
Hey guys, thanks. That's about as. Hey, that's enough money for Jeff. Now, I didn't want to go overboard. Thank you guys for the super chats for Jeff. Jeff, where can they find you as far as like your address? Any Muslims that want to come by? Like, what's your street address, postal code, and all that good stuff?
Sure. So my physical address. I don't know. I don't have a joke there, but.
Oh shit! My bad.
Well, anyway,
party her ass. Party her ass off.
Wait a minute. Is that Eddie? Is that Sweaty Eddie?
No, he's been ill for a couple of days. So, Jeff, let's get the show on the road. Thank you guys for joining Jeff for his wonderful show. And I don't know who he was trolling, the callers or his guest, but either way, it was a fun show. Jeff, much love, my friend.
As always, Pasta. As always, I appreciate you being here.
Hell yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video, guys. Helps TART, the Atheist Roundtable, and Tang, the Atheist Network Group. I will see you next time.